All right, thank you guys for listening in on my presentation. I apologize for not being here in person, but I'm hoping to create a great presentation via Zoom. Today, my presentation will be on Manzanilla and Mosto wine, which is native to the region of Jerez, about an hour away from Sevilla, Spain. All right, so what exactly is Manzanilla wine? Well, Manzanilla is a dry white wine made from Palomino grapes and is aged under a layer of yeast known as Ville de la Flor. It is produced exclusively in the bodegas of the San Lacure de Barrameda region. And this region provides a really special climate for this wine to grow because it's situated at the mouth of the river Guadalquivir, which produces a special environment that gives a beautiful, unique, distinct characteristics to the wine that's grown there. So what are the characteristics that you may ask that are produced in the Manzanilla wine? Well, some of the notes that Manzanilla is often described as, it's very sharp and a delicate bouquet of predominant floral aromas and remnants of chamomile, almonds, and dough. The color of it, as it looks, is a very bright, pale, straw-colored wine. It's dry, fresh, and delicate on the palate, light and smooth in despite of the dry finish. And the light acidity of it produces a pleasant sensation of freshness and a lingering, slightly bitter aftertaste. So how is Manzanilla served? Well, it is always served very chilled. It's often paired with seafood or all styles of food from the sea. And it is poured in a traditional wide-rimmed Catavino or white wine glass. That way it could aerate more. All right, and what is Mosto wine? Well, Mosto in Spanish means must, but Mosto in Spain is the unfermented juice of the Palomino grapes, which is crucial for the sherry wine production. After pressing after pressing the grapes, the Mosto is fortified with grape spirit to prevent fermentation. And this fortified juice undergoes aging in the Solera system, which results in many different styles of sherry wine. Mosto is served as the base for sherry and contributes to Jerez's reputation for exceptional fortified wines. So when we say the word fortified, what does fortified mean? That just means adding liquor to any wine to make it last longer, because usually a wine, depending up to taste, should last about 1 to 3 days. But some fortified wines can go weeks, months, even years after opened. So Mosto wine is not traditionally served as a final beverage on its own, but instead it is used as the starting point for sherry wine. All right, and I'm sure many of you have heard of Fino, but maybe not so much Manzanilla. So here are 2 bottles, one of Fino, one of Manzanilla from the same winery, Lusto, which I actually had the privilege of visiting. It was very delicious, and I highly recommend you guys to visit there. But one of their wines that they provide, a Fino, is a Puerto Fino. So just to describe the Fino, it's a pale, dry sherry known for the light, crisp character. It undergoes an aging of layer of floral yeast, similar to that of Manzanilla, protecting it from the oxidation and imparting a distinctive tanginess to it. So keep in mind the tanginess. As far as the Manzanilla goes, we have a bottle called Papirusa. So the Manzanilla is a subtype of Fino, specifically produced in San Lacure de Barrameda. Its aging process is under the influence of the Atlantic Ocean, which gives a more distinct saline character. So comparing these two, Fino gives a little bit more tanginess, light, crisp. And then as we described the Manzanilla, has a little bit of saltiness. And it also provides a little bit more sweetness to it. But looking at some of these notes just to compare, the Fino, the tasting notes are green apples, almond forward, and then on a back end, we have notes of citrus and green olives, versus the Manzanilla that we have is more florals and chamomile forward, versus the back end of the taste is going to be light, very, very light green apples and almonds. And if you're looking at the price too, it looks like Fino is a little bit more expensive than Manzanilla. Okay, so Tío de Pepe, what is Tío de Pepe? So Tío de Pepe is a renowned brand of Fino sherry wine produced by the prestigious González Valles Winery in Jerez, Spain. It is celebrated for its distinct dry profile and pale color. It is often recognizable by its slender green bottle, the red cap, and the image of a man in a hat. Tío Pepe's packaging is iconic in the world of sherry, making it easily identifiable in shelves and restaurants. Tío, Tío de Pepe is often enjoyed as a chilled aperitif. It's crisp, has nutty flavors and refreshing qualities that make it very, very popular to pair with different appetizers and tapas. As far as its global recognition, it's not only a symbol of quality in the sherry producing region of Jerez, but has gained international acclaim. Its name is synonymous with excellence and tradition associated with Fino wine in general. All right, these are my sources. Thank you for listening in on my presentation, and I hope you learned a little bit more about Manzanilla, Fino, and Mosto wine.